So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's McDeedus here. Hello, everybody. I am here today, but I am missing Courtney, and because I'm missing Courtney, I am forced to be here with Ronnie. Say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I look like you're so happy about it. I mean, whatever you will do since she's not here today. Um, so we are here to recap, or more so discuss, the episode of Yellowjackets titled "It Chooses." My initial thoughts were, what on earth is going on? Ronnie, general impressions?
Pretty much the same. Like this show is getting real heavy now, and that is crazy to say considering we watched someone get eaten from head to toe the second episode. But this show is getting pretty dark now. I'm still enjoying it, but it's reaching the point where it's like I have to like set my Yellow Jackets time aside. I have to say like, okay, like let me get my mind right to watch Yellow Jackets.
Let me breathe.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me
Um,
prepare.
so yeah, general impressions for this episode. We're starting to finally like get deeper into the mystery, but it's still pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy is generous, I would say. Um, the first thing I do, I usually watch it on Fridays when they drop because I have, other engagements and I want to make sure I can do it before my kids are here. However, when I watched it this Friday, I told Ronnie and Courtney they needed to watch it right away because I had to talk about it. Like I had to. They didn't listen. So I've been stuck with this for days, y'all. Days. And I'm so happy I can finally get it out. Before we even got to the credits, we find out that not only are they not going to find Nugget and eat him and be mad at Akila because she kept him, we found out that Nugget does not exist on this spiritual realm.
Excuse you.
He's
Nugget is a nugget.
literal Nugget. Nugget went on to be with the Lord a long time ago, clearly, because not only is he dead, he's down to his remains, like his skeletal remains. And Akila didn't even realize that Nugget wasn't real until Thaisa pointed it out to her. When you realize that she had been speaking and feeding and taking care of a very dead mouse, what did you think?
So it goes back to the question, I guess, like how much of this is like delirium versus how much of it is it like the thing having casting a spell over them. But I do think part of this is like them simply being like just delirious.
It has to be her being delirious, right? Like, but I'm glad you said that how much of it is delirium and how much of it is the spell, because instead of you saying, when you said spell initially, I mean, when you said how much is delirium initially, I'm thinking, oh wait, maybe the thing was alive and the whatever entity is making it appear to be something else, but it actually was. But either way, it's dead. So whether she thought it was alive and it's not alive, or it's been dead the whole time, whatever else, the whole thing point is the thing's dead. And it's just showing us that they are legit losing their minds, all of them, not just Coach. Because I at one point thought it was just going to be Coach because he's just kind of going through. He's not eating. Everybody's starving, but he's not eating at all. Like these girls are boiling belts just for flavor, I'm assuming, and he's not
Protein.
eating. Sorry, you're right, protein, but he's not eating, and he rightfully is losing his mind. But you have to remember too, they are eating, they're putting things in their body, but they're not getting any sustenance for real.
Mhm.
Like they're putting enough in their bodies to literally survive, and that's not in any way healthy. Like how could they be healthy? But it causes them to go crazy, and they can't be sleeping well because they're starving. Have you? I'm sure you went to college, so you know what sleep deprivation feels like. You really do start losing your shit. Like for real, your brain it doesn't function as it should. And when you are tired and you can't sleep, sort of like an insomnia type thing, that's worse. And I think that's where they are. Because I mean, they could sleep if they were tired, they could sleep, but they're not able to get any full rest because they're starving.
Right.
This is I knew they were there 19 months. I knew it was hard, but these are the small things that I hadn't considered that
Mhm.
they are showing me. And I think they're doing a good job doing that. Because this is a lot. This is a whole lot. Right. Now we can go back to the very after the credits, after I got past that part. Thanks a lot. Got our OG theme song back though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so Adam, we found Adam.
Yeah. And I knew it was going to be a matter of time. I did. Um, didn't know it would come this season, but I should have known. And the reason why I say that, I bring that up specifically because this is a storyline that has to reach some type of resolution, right? Like there's only two paths. Shauna somehow wiggles her way out of this, and you know the charges aren't put on her, or she goes to jail, and that doesn't make for a good show. So
But can't she has to go to jail though, eventually, right? Or no?
I mean, the Yellow Jackets might be in jail together if they, don't stop killing people. So
But okay, so have all the Yellow Jackets killed somebody? No, the only Misty's killed somebody. Somebody's a bunch of people.
yeah,
Um, I guess they could all kind of be on the hook for Adam. Accessory, if nothing else, but they
yeah,
didn't murder him. Sean's the one that murdered, but still, accessory. Um, Lottie's killed. Well, okay, I take that back. All of the Yellow Jackets have killed somebody, obviously, because now we see that the Queen of Hearts card has come into play. So it's very clear that
mhm,
they've killed each other, right? They killed and
mhm.
ate each other. So that, but I'm thinking present day Yellow Jackets, Misty and Shauna are the only ones who have killed people in the present day, right? That we know of.
Yes, yes,
Yes. Well, and Lottie kinda, because I still say she killed Travis. I'm sorry. That's how I see it. I
that's
think she
fair.
killed him. I think she killed him. I don't even know if she meant to, or if it was her other one that did it. But I think Lottie, the person, killed him. Now, what mindset she was in, I don't know, but I think she killed him. So Van finds out that something is going on because she can tell Ty's lying to her, and she wants the details. We know that she's dying, and she's trying to figure out everything that's going on with the girls. Now, Lottie suggested that they go ahead and just sacrifice somebody, one of us. Courtney actually mentioned that last week, saying that she thinks that they're going to have to make another sacrifice to kind of make things right with whatever the entity is. Now, my question to you, do you think this entity that they are speaking of, or that's doing the whole thing, is it the antler queen? Because in my mind that was Lottie, but it seems like the antler queen is something of itself. Maybe it's something that Lottie becomes, and I'm just assuming it's Lottie because it really could be anybody.
Yeah, so now I kind of view whatever this thing is almost as like a spirit. So I feel like whoever, takes the mantle of the Antler Queen, the spirit will inhabit that person and give them power. And maybe it's going to bounce between like several people, but obviously it's some type of spirit.
It could still be Shauna too, because remember we mentioned at one point it could be her.
Mhm.
And we always assumed it was Lottie just because they kind of, I think there was a point where she actually put it on her head. last season. But it could be Shauna because when they pull the Queen of Hearts, let's go ahead and talk about that. They decided after Lottie was beat Fight Club style, sorry, ignoring the rules of Fight Club style, they decided that in order to save Lottie, they had to make a sacrifice because it can't be her. They have to do something to survive. Lottie has told Misty, hey, if I die, don't let my body go to waste. But the team collectively said, no, it can't be Lottie. So let's make sure we stay alive. And saying pretty much, let's show Lottie that she doesn't have to sacrifice herself because we're okay. Let's figure out another way because it can't be Lottie. My first thought was, well, why not?
Why not?
I mean, yes, she's the one that's kind of giving them hope. She started the church, the cult, really what it is already a cult. But it wasn't a cult yet. It's definitely a cult now. The young ones, I'm saying, not the new cult, the old cult. Because at first they were just having like a spiritual connection to each other and to their surroundings, which is not a bad idea, right? So I get that. But that means she started the framework. Churches have several different ministers. Like sometimes they pass, sometimes they go on to other places, they move, they do other things, they take vacations, but the church goes on. So you can still do this without it being literally Lottie. So why can't it be her? Do they think she has the direct connection to said thing?
Yeah, obviously they feel like she has like some type of like spiritual authority, and they kind of like see her almost as like their shepherd through like the literal wilderness. But at the same time, like mighty convenient that Lottie is, is on the way out of this earth. Why can't it be her?
She's right there. I mean, if it chooses, let it choose, right?
Yeah.
They create this. It's not a game. It's a ritual. I guess that's a better word for it. With the cards, we could say a ritual because it looks like they've already been doing it for the chores, right? They've been pulling cards for chores, but now they've added this Queen of Hearts that Hobby found. We noticed, we missed it, but someone thankfully, I saw it on Twitter. I'm not sure if that was the origin, but someone on Twitter found the clip and showed us that Aquila says, hey, Aquila says, hey, where'd you find that card? Or where'd you find that Queen of Hearts or whatever it was? But the point is Hobby found it. And Hobby's already been talking about she said to do this, or she told me this, or while he was down in whatever his man cave was when he was in hiding all that time. So kind of starts with Javi. And unfortunately, it also starts with Javi. Jump ahead a little bit. So they pull the cards, and Nat is the one that gets the Queen of Hearts. The plan, from what we can tell, was that Shauna was just going to slit her throat. Now, I wanted to bring that up to say that's why I'm thinking it could be Shauna. Because why was she the designated murderer?
Because she drew the queen, right?
No.
No.
Nat drew the queen.
Nat drew the queen.
Shauna was just gonna be the one to do it, and it seemed like everybody already knew that was the case. Like maybe they said, "Hey, if you pull, then you're the one that's gonna do it." Like maybe there was some kind of rule to decide, because I'm wondering what would have happened if Shauna pulled it. Maybe she killed herself. I don't know. I just know I was shocked because I'll say to the writer's credit, I did not see it coming with Nat, and I should have, because it felt like she was just very nervous. Everybody was nervous, but she was particularly nervous about pulling a card. It was almost like, I'm not sure if you've ever read The Lottery. It's a short story about these people who have this ritual every year, and somebody gets stoned. That's the ritual. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why we had to read it. A bunch of us had to read it. I think maybe in school. I don't know. But that's what it reminded me of. And if you haven't read The Lottery, I'm sorry I'm spoiling it for you. But the point is, there was one woman who was particularly antsy the whole time. Like everybody knew what was going to happen, But she was particularly like, no, we shouldn't do this. This is outdated. It's bad. We shouldn't do it. And then, of course, she's the one at the end that ended up being the person chosen. That's how I felt with Nat. Nat pulled a card, and I'm thinking, oh, it's not going to be Nat. It can't be Nat. Nat's still alive. But now we see how. When Nat ran, well, Travis saved her, because this is going to get a little complicated. Travis saved her by telling her to run. He pushed somebody away. Maybe it was Shauna, because Nat told Shauna, you have to look me in my eye. If you're going to slit my throat, you need to look me in my eye. She hesitated, of course, because, Shauna's a terrible person, but she's still a person. Travis used that time to push Nat away and told her to run, blocked the door long enough to get a little bit ways away, and then they all ran after her like feral beasts. Like it was almost, I want to say amazing, but I want to use a darker word. It was terrifying how quickly, how quickly they went from, this is scary, we know we have to do this, we don't want to do it, to, oh, she's running, we're hunters now, right? And Javi saves her, but in doing so, he tells her, I have a place that we can go. None but love around. None but love around. However, somebody had already found that place using his maps. Who was that somebody?
Yeah, so Coach Ben finds it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the interesting part, because Ben kind of stumbles upon it, like using his own like skills of the deduction. But now that Javi is no longer with us, like we don't know the significance of like that particular place. Because to go back like a few episodes back, when we stumbled upon like this tree, like the snow was melted around it, but now we see why, because there's an opening and you go through it, and then there's a bit of a path that leads down. So, but we see bones, we see various other things, but we don't know the significance of it. But I don't know. Yeah.
That was my thing. I'm like, okay, so we know Javi was down there for a while. Like, did they say like 3 weeks or something? It had been a while.
Yeah, it was a while. Yeah.
And my thought was, of course, Javi was stealing food and taking it, I guess, back there and whatever else. But there were a lot of bones, like a whole lot of bones. And if Javi was stealing food, was he just eating raw bear meat?
So I saw like almost like a little fire pit in there too.
Okay. So he was okay.
So can we even say like, now can we even say that Javi was stealing food, or was he being brought food by
We
the
can't.
mysterious she? Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking now.
With all the bones down there, that's what I was kind of getting to. The bones that we saw were plentiful, and it doesn't match what he would have had to steal from the Yellowjackets, because Shauna was upset and she could tell that some food had been taken, but for him to survive 3 weeks and for everything that we saw down there, that was way more than that. And
Right.
with that bear, would it be that many bones if she was just eating bear meat?
Well, I haven't had the pleasure of eating a bear, but I
I haven't
imagine
either.
I imagine there are like several bones, so it makes sense. But yeah, I do feel like
I see a lot
he
of
was
muscle.
being, yeah, I do feel like Javi was being like checked on, by the she, whoever she may be.
Wait, now my question will be, if she was protecting him in some way, some form, some fashion, and he died. Okay, so he fell through the ice trying to save Nat. Nat did panic and try to save him initially, but Misty is the one that said, if you save him, they will kill you. Again, that is terrifying. Misty is a psychopath. Like she is, because that being your first thought is really just scary. Like, I get that she's thinking, okay, we're going to kill her, right? We got to eat, we got to do whatever else. But the fact that you had time to not react and immediately try to save him means that you just don't. I don't know. I just can't wrap my mind around it because she was. There are times where I think she's normal, not normal. She's not normal. Where she has emotion because she didn't want Coach to kill himself, but she had nothing for Javi.
Yeah.
And I know the relationship is different, but still, like as a human being, you think that compassion will come in just, I guess, in a fight or flight period. Like this, just the thought to act in order to save somebody. You would think that would be on forefront of your mind, but it wasn't for her. She's just like, we'll just kind of let him die. So
Yeah, that also made me think about something because we ask ourselves like how much of this is just them going delirious in the woods versus how much of it is it like the spirit commanding them to do something? If we are to believe that the spirit is commanding them to do something, or there is a spirit in general, I should say, how much of their actions now is free will versus like determinism, if you get what I'm saying? Because now you're saying like they
like,
they are they are like playing by the rules of what they think this thing wants, but how much of that is them basically almost creating the rules as they go versus like actually knowing what this thing wants and going with that? Because like you said, they switched it on immediately. and and yeah, that is very scary because like that thing, like it obviously it's resting dormant within them, but now it's like we got to do this, and they don't even hesitate anymore. Like you said, Missy doesn't even hesitate. She's like, either he drowns or we chop you to bits. Which one is it? So
I think too, I want to go kind of back to Jackie because
mhm.
whatever the thing is, it wants them to survive, right?
Right.
Because that it preserved, well, it killed a fire so that they could
Mhm.
smoke Jackie. Gosh, versus just actually, cremating her.
Mhm.
And then after that, after the Jackie situation, that's when all the sparrows fell. So something that may have also been what Javi was eating, those birds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but the sparrows fell. So it's like it's protecting them on the one hand, but it wants sacrifice on the other hand, which makes sense. I mean, like the gods of old wanted burnt offerings. So yeah, that's what it is. It's just their bodies are the burnt offering, and she's like, well, I don't need the meat, so yeah, I'll eat that to survive. I just want the act, I guess, to know that you're willing to do it for me. Maybe whoever
Yeah,
she is.
I feel like that's an interesting thing because so just going to like basic theory, which is basic religious theory, which is the I think it's like the Jesus Serious theory or whatever. Basically, like it states that um humans needed to create a god, and
Mhm,
like whether or not you subscribe to this, okay, cool, but humans need to um create a god to create order, to create a reason to keep going, to have like some higher purpose than this planet Earth.
mhm,
And I keep going back to this, like, is it a misdirection showing us like the heavy hand of this stuff now? And then later we're gonna realize like they really just needed to do what they needed to do to survive. And I'm starting to like, because like earlier, like I was leaning like, okay, like they're showing us like real heavy, like there's some type of like spiritual force out here. But how much is it like them? Like, yeah, like we need a reason to survive. Like if we believe something is protecting us, then we'll keep going. And yeah, I say all that to say like it has to be tough to say we need food. Which one of you is it going to be? But it's a lot easier to say that if you think you're offering a sacrifice to some being that is keeping you
mhm.
alive. So,
I didn't eat my friends because I was hungry. I ate my friends because
Right.
the entity demanded it of us.
Right.
But you got to remember too, when they were in the present day, when they were sitting around and Lottie suggested they poisoned them,
Mhm.
one of them poisoned themselves. I can't remember who it was. It was either Nat or Ty, but somebody was like, "Well, that was made up though. Like that it was made
Mhm.
up."
Mhm.
So I'm like, "Okay, yeah." And even though Lottie says we brought, or Nat says
Nat. Mhm.
we brought it back. The question is it, did you bring it back with you, or did you bring it, or is it in you? Like,
Mhm.
are you
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing? Like, it's not this entity that you brought back. You brought this ideal, I guess, like you're saying, this thing that you've created in your mind to cope and survive. You brought that back, not necessarily a legitimate entity that has followed you back to where you are. I still think they gotta figure out the man with no eyes thing. When I say figure it out, of course they know what it is, but that still needs some explanation in my opinion. I'd like to know what that is. Talk about Mindy a little. I mean, I'm sorry, Misty a little bit, because we have talked about how she's psychotic. She is,
Mhm.
and the fact that she graded this man's tattoos off, you don't need more than that. That's sick. And I know why she
Yeah.
did it. I know the point, but there was another way. There's another way. You didn't have to use a cheese grater to get rid of his tattoos. There was another way to get rid of his tattoos. There was. It was, Ronnie. She didn't have to do that. She didn't.
I mean, if you want to get the job done,
She could have burned them. No, she could have cut the skin off. She could have done something other than sit and grate. Like, you've seen a cheese grater. Yeah.
yeah, I have. Yeah,
You
I
know how
know.
messy that had to be?
Yeah, I'm with
How much
Jeff on this
time?
one. Yeah, let's. No, we
Okay,
don't need to.
I just wanted to say it because that's
But no, like I think it shows that she is like yeah, she's a very dangerous person. Like she knows how to like do these things. Like she like dismembered someone with like surgical precision, like right at the joints. Like
and said that she killed Jessica like it was nothing.
yeah,
Took
like
care of it.
I mean, I did it to protect you. Like,
I mean, she had to die. It was necessary. Whatever. I don't even know why we even talk about it still. This is Ty's fault. If Ty hadn't hired her, we wouldn't be going through this. Which brings us all back around to the fact that this all started with Jeff.
mm-hmm,
All of this started
mm-hmm.
because of Jeff. Jeff blackmailed them. They thought they were in trouble, and then they handled it the worst way possible. Like seriously, there wasn't a worse way for them to take. Nothing about them could have been worse. The only thing that's kind of confusing is Lottie, and I'm sure she answered this. I just don't remember. Was she following that?
Yes,
Okay,
there
that's how
were
she knew. Okay.
because the hotel, excuse me, motel that Nat was staying at. Um, what's Jeff's friend Randy? Randy said he would see people in purple hoodies like just walk back and forth. So they were keeping tabs on that.
And that's how she saw her going
Right.
spiraling and all that stuff. And that's how she knew she was gonna die. Okay. Do you think that Nat, I mean Lottie, is going to convince them to do this ritual or no? Because at this point, they laid it out on the line, everybody's confessed
Yeah.
everything. We did, Courtney and I were thinking if someone had to be the person that would be sacrificed, we were guessing that it would be Van, only because she hasn't
Mm-hmm.
been as prevalent as the rest of them, and she's already dying.
Yeah, and not to and I mean to kind of go meta with it. Like if you have a 5 season show, you don't get rid of Christina Ricci, you don't get rid of Juliette Lewis, you don't get rid of Melanie Linsky. So sorry, Van. And it is wild because I actually like Adult Van. Like Adult Van is like Like I really like her, but
Like her a
yeah,
lot.
I was thinking that too. I was like, damn, it's gonna be adult fat.
It's gonna be Van because she she is likable, but as far as a television show goes, and I know we've gotten to the point now where we'll kill anybody. Like they're we're at a
Yeah.
point where just anybody can get it. But with this particular show, Jackie was even a lot, but we hadn't gotten to know adult Jackie, so it hit, but we already knew she was dead anyway,
Mhm,
right? So
mhm,
that wasn't as bad. I think you're right. I want to add that Mari's in that pit. I'm
mhm,
pretty sure of it.
mhm.
Um, did you notice that they? I'm sure you did, but the necklace that is going to
Yep.
be a part of the ritual. They put the necklace
Mhm,
on you because you're the one that dies, and I'm assuming now they're just gonna say, "Hey, we're gonna put the necklace on you. You run. We're gonna give you a such and such head start,
mhm,
and then we're coming. And if
mhm.
you survive, then that means it didn't choose you. But if we catch you, you are human stew.
Yeah, and
How
let's go back.
long?
I was about to say, let's quickly go back to that opening scene of the first episode because it gets like really sinister because they create like spike pits. They
Mm-hmm,
create booby traps to catch people now.
mm-hmm,
So it's going to
mm-hmm.
get very, very dark when they start to play this game.
And with that, who is creating? Who's making them? Because if I helped create the trap, then I'm not gonna fall in it. Right? I mean, I know you get delirious if you're running, you're not thinking about it, you could fall into a trap at any time. But if I set a trap, I'm not gonna go where my trap is. So who is setting these traps? Who's the designated person? I'm assuming Nat is one of them. Akila was a Girl Scout, so she might be one of them. And it might be a
Mm.
collective thing, but maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe they were chasing her towards it and she had no choice but to either fall in the trap or,
Yeah,
get pushed
and
in it.
also, I mean, also if you're like just running around in the woods at night, you don't like really
Can't
know
see.
which direction you're going in. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's ah.
You get turned around pretty fast. Okay. Want to touch on Coach right quick. What is he going to do? What's Ben gonna do down there?
Yeah, that's the thing because at first I thought he was ready to go to the big soccer tournament in the sky, but
Mm-hmm.
now it seems like
The upper room.
yeah, now it seems like he's found like some reason to keep going. There was like that weird phone call where his hit like he thought he was seeing like his partner, but he was on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, you're not supposed to be here." So the here part, like where is here and where aren't you supposed to be? But yeah,
Yeah, because here in my mind meant the earthly realm, like you said,
right, right.
like you
That's what I
you
was
have to
thinking.
die.
Yeah,
But now it could just mean the cabin. Like
yeah.
you weren't supposed to be in literal this place with these crazy ass girls for all this time. And I'm sorry to call them crazy, but they are. Like at this point, they're
They are
mentally they're
they
going.
are.
It's not their fault, but they are they're out there. There are two girls. I'm trying to think of how many girls are left that I remember seeing outside of our core. There were two that were one blonde and one other one I can't remember. And then there was Mari,
So
Akila,
yeah, there are.
at
I feel
least
like
four,
there's. I was gonna say three, but there might be four
three.
because I
Okay,
do
because
know there's definitely um
it's four.
like a girl with like blondish hair, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
Aquila, and I feel like that's it because what's her name is no longer with us either. And see, I wasn't on recaps for the previous episode, so I want to say this too. If Misty would have just been honest, they had their sacrifice.
They had it. Crystal. Yeah. Crystal the pistol.
Because
You're right.
when I like saw like the preview them carrying someone on a stake, I was like, oh, they found Crystal and they're bringing her body back. No, that's Javi.
That's
So
Javi. It's Javi. Real quick, I don't want us to go too long. Travis, we kind of touched on this out offline, but I want to bring it to hear to people who are watching. How does Travis speak to Natalie again, even now, outside of him having to survive? Like that makes sense. You have to play whatever game if you want to live. But once they get back to safety, because we know Travis makes it too,
Mhm.
how does he even communicate with them anymore? How do they even talk to each other? Like that's the Yellow Jackets. I get they probably have had like news stories and all of these different things that they've gone through once they got back. Like there's no doubt in my mind that people tried to exploit the hell out of them, right? But on a friendship level, a point where we keep in touch, was it maybe that entity that pulled that throuple together? Because you got to remember when Travis
Yeah.
and Nat were having sex, Lottie was present, right? So is that the entity just binding them?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So if there's a scenario in which Natalie and Travis like do have a relationship, it's because Lottie probably told Travis to forgive her, and she was like, it was all part of the grand plan. You have to forgive Natalie. She didn't do it.
And a lot of drugs.
That too. A lot of
Yeah,
cocaine.
a lot of cocaine. All right, so next week is the finale. Well, this week is the finale. This is it. Um, what do you think we
Hmm.
get?
Hmm.
Now we're this is of course we don't think this is by any means a series finale. Not sure how long it's gonna
No,
take.
no, 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 no,
Don't
no.
know how the writer strike's gonna go. But with that said, what do you think we get? What questions do we get answered this week, this last episode? Or what would you like to at least see?
Yeah, I'm trying to think which questions there are to even like ask right now because it's like we furthered the show a little bit, but what are the immediate questions? And the answer to that is like I really like don't know
I
because
want
like yeah, yeah, like where are we trying to wrap up this season if you had to say it?
well, if we have to wrap something up, Adam can keep going. Like that's fine. He can go as long as he needs to go. And Kevin and Matt and Callie and Jeff, whatever, that can be fine in the present timeline. I'm okay with that not wrapping up. I do want to know in our past timeline what Coach is doing down there or what's going to happen with him. I don't have to know whether he lives or dies yet, but I kind of want to see what he finds in like the because it's like a cave, right? Or like a bunker
Yeah, it's
almost. I don't
essentially a
know.
cave. Yeah.
Want to see what's down there. I think we get a good grasp of how Travis is going to handle his brother dying for real this time, and I guess I want to see what Lottie does when she heals. Like once she realizes what they've done, how she kind of acclimates into the ritual that they've now done. But I don't necessarily think that we're gonna get a clear answer for that. Like the rules of it. I think that might even be next season. Like the rules of the ritual, how often they do it. Um, like is it just when we get hungry? Is it every 2 weeks? How long can you survive off a human body? I know you don't know that, but I'm just
I
saying
was about to say,
how long. Like, do we ration it and then do we go again when we run out of meat? Do they get to the point where they're like no longer rationing anything? They're like, hey, we out of meat. Let's go. Pull a card. Let's go. So
like I want a snack tonight. Let's pull a
yeah,
card.
that's why I feel like some jerky. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna go, and I want to see this the earthly. I mean, I keep saying the earthly realm, but it's really the present timeline. Um, I think I want to see what's gonna happen with Van. That's kind of where I want to go. I want Keela
So
to be alive. By the way,
so
I know
I
she's
just thought
probably
about
not, but
I
okay.
just thought about this. We don't really know a lot about Walter, and Walter, like we know, is about to like break his way to the compound. So keep Walter in mind. He might be the sacrifice because we might think he's one thing and he might be another. So
Is he going to the compound? Because my thought was that he was about to go after Kevin and Matt.
no, I thought he pulled out like a purple jumpsuit.
Did he? I don't. He probably
Yeah.
did. I just saw him send the email, and I thought, oh, he's gonna try to go and get Kevin and
Mhm.
Matt. But if he pulled out a purple jumpsuit, then absolutely he's going to the compound. Yeah. Because I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's gotten the messages, right?
Yeah, well, he got the messages from the Reddit. Yeah.
No, not from the Reddit, from Nutcase, Misty's voicemail.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did he get it? Like, did he get her message saying she like him and all of that jazz?
I I imagine so. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense if he's about to go to the cult. Does everybody stay? I know Shauna. Oh no, I'm sorry. Never mind. She didn't go home. That was a dream.
Mhm.
Jeff had a weird ass dream where Shauna had electric knives for hands. But do they go home, or like what happens? Or do they stay?
I mean, I think someone says that like this is probably the safest place you could be right now.
To go home. Her wife is still in the hospital. And did anybody pick Sammy up from school?
Sammy gotta get out the mud. He gotta figure
Sammy's
out
still
his
at the
own.
house.
Yeah.
He probably walked for real this time.
Yeah.
So, but Ty has to go home. Shauna has a child, so I would assume she needs to go home. She didn't have to, but I would assume she should. But she could stay. Do the police have, I guess, jurisdiction at her place, at Lottie's place?
I can see how they would.
So, like you said, like they were saying, yeah, you're right. That is the safest place. So everybody might just stay there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. One more episode this season. We'll see. We'll be here. Join us. Same bat time, same bat channel. Maybe. Definitely
Relatively
channel.
safe. Yeah.
Definitely channel. Time, it's relative. So we'll see. Hopefully you won't pull the Queen of Hearts and you'll be with us next week. So until then, peace.